Bubba says in this Murli, it's Murli of March the 7th, 1990, the attainment of self-sovereignty with ruling and controlling power. Today, Bap Dada, who has love for the children, was especially checking two aspects of every child. The practical form of love is to make the children. Why does Baba give you love?
To make him equal.
To make you complete and perfect, which is equal. Today, Baba was seeing how much ruling power and controlling power there is in each one of his children. So, lack of controlling and ruling power is why you have trouble in yoga. The physical organs of the body function through control by the soul. The soul controls the sense organs, the body, so that the soul can use them whenever it chooses. You should be able to use anything, your mind, intellect, sanskaras, any of your physical organs, when you want, how you want, to accomplish whatever you want. That's perfection. To overcome any obstacle. However it chooses, wherever it chooses. That is called controlling power. Just as the hands and feet are physical powers, in the same way, the mind, intellect, sanskaras are your subtle powers. Baba asks, have you developed the power to control your subtle powers, that is, control your mind, intellect, and sanskaras? If you're honest, you'll say no. But are you responsible for doing that? Yes, because God told you to do it. Are you putting all your effort into accomplishing, controlling your mind, intellect, sanskaras? No. That dishonesty, i.e., your lack of full commitment to doing that, is why you remain separated from God. Because that is the definition of soul consciousness. Because in this Brahman life, you become a master almighty authority. That is the effort you have to make. Become a master almighty authority so you could reach stage of perfection, karmatit. The attainment of this time continues for the whole cycle in the form of being a ruler. When you've got this properly, you have ruling power over yourself. You get to have the fortune to be a ruler over others. You get to be a king. The attainment of this time continues for the whole cycle in the form of being a ruler in the golden age. Everyone's a ruler, self-sovereign. And then in the form of being a worshiper from the copper age onwards. So you're worship worthy in the first half of the cycle, but nobody worships you. And you're a worshiper in the second half, worshiping what you used to be. Where are you going to hear truth like that? Nowhere will you learn truth. Who could tell you that other than God? In devotion too, an elevated soul has controlling power over the mind, intellect, and sanskars. They do all kinds of rituals and chant mantras to control their sanskars. Devotees too become powerful, but number-wise. That is, whichever special deity they choose to worship for as long as they want, and by whichever method they use, according to the method of their devotion, love, they attain the fruit of that devotion for as long as they want, and by whichever method, according to the method of their devotion that they do, they attain the fruit of that devotion in the form of contentment, stability, power, and happiness. That's why people do devotion in religion. Whatever the religion, doesn't matter. However, this Brahman birth is the basis of your ruling status throughout the cycle and the power of devotion that you will do as a worshiper. This Brahman life, the confluence age, is the seed of that, right? So this one short birth of the confluence age is the basis for all the births of the whole cycle. Just as you become special in ruling the kingdom, in the same way, you become special devotees, not ordinary devotees. Why? Because you knew God and they never met God. The devotees of the rosary of the devotees are separate from you, but the devotion of attainment of you souls who become worthy of worship yourselves, as well as becoming worshipers, is special, is unique. Even though at that time you're worshipers, your devotion is unique. It's not the same as body conscious people's devotion. So this one short birth of the confluence age is the basis for all the births of the whole cycle. All your births is dependent on what you're doing in this confluence age one birth. You need to understand the serious relevance of that statement. That's why it's got to bring out, you have to be your best in this confluence age. You have to reach perfection in this confluence age, because there is no other cycle, and this every one of your births in the cycle for the entire cycle is dependent on what you do from the time God intervenes in your life. So today, Bapdada was seeing this birth of the children of the Brahman birth, which is the main basis. From the beginning until now, with that constancy, and to what percentage has there been ruling power and controlling power in your Brahman life? Having trouble renouncing vices, you're going to have trouble with ruling power, controlling power. That affects Trikodarshi, seeing the future. The result of that is you can't be as high a ruler in the Golden Age and the Silver Age. And then when you're in the Copper Age, you won't do as high a quality of devotion to God. Even in ignorance, you will do less, because it comes from the power of controlling and ruling that you're learning to develop and attain. Nobody can do this effort for you. You have to do it. If you're going to let fear sabotage you repeatedly, what's your controlling and ruling power going to look like?
It's going to be weak.
It's going to be weak. Not a zilch. Zero. Nobody did that to you. God told you what to do. You didn't want to do it. That's affecting your controlling and ruling power, no? So can you keep allowing yourself to be subservient to your fear? It's having a direct impact on your consciousness, and thereby your controlling and ruling power. What is visible in your result, controlling power over these three special powers, mind, intellect, and scars, is known as being a self-sovereign. Controlling your mind, intellect, and scars is how you become a self-sovereign. Control your mind, intellect, feelings, thoughts, to make elevated, selfless decisions. That all comes from being able to control your mind, intellect, and sanskars. These subtle powers, mind, intellect, sanskars, can make your physical organs work with discipline according to the system. No discipline? Then you won't be able to be consistent, and you won't be able to be elevated, because it's just continuous, regular practice. If you're not willing to put in the practice, how can you become disciplined enough to become elevated? Right? Makes sense. What result did Baba see? The result seen was that all are according to their capacity in mind, intellect, and scars, in being able to use them whenever, wherever, and however they choose. They're according to their capacity, not according to their purity. Remember, I tell you, you're number wise according to your purity. You're making effort according to your capacity. Does that mean capacity is your purity? No, capacity is your body conscious belief in who you think you are, which I've told you is a lie. Who you think you are is not who you are. Who you think you are is not who Baba thinks you are. So hence I told you the conclusion I came to was whatever Baba says is true, whatever I think means nothing and is a lie somewhere if it doesn't match what Baba says. So then I say to you guys in class, when are you not lying? Because you're not looking at yourself through Baba's eyes. So how could you possibly look at the world, the creation, through pure eyes? So that you never tell the truth about anything. Unless you're in the experience of being in yoga with Baba, you can't feel truth, especially in such an impure world as this. There isn't full power, but only power according to capacity, your belief in your capacity. It's not even your capacity. Because your capacity is you can become a deity, isn't it? You started off that way. So if you're making effort only according to your present capacity in body consciousness, is that true effort and true capacity? No, that's a lie. So then you shouldn't think like that. You're comparing yourself to your weak, impure self. What kind of honesty is that? That's what makes you weak. That's why you can't feel your power. The double foreigners use the word something a lot in their language. Sometimes something. Would this be called being an almighty authority? Powerful? You are mighty, but are you almighty? In fact, this is called being almighty. This is called the foundation of your Brahman life. You're supposed to be almighty all the time. So you see, if you keep doing this fear thing, procrastinating, careless, lazy, nobody will mistake that as almighty. Therefore, nobody's going to be doing too much worship of your image, and you won't be much of a ruler in golden and silver age. Understand the connection? That's why you got to spin the cycle 3 aspects of time. And to whatever extent someone has authority over themselves, that is, if the soul knows the method of making the self and others move forward, he claims a number ahead. The more you help others move forward, the more you move ahead. Pele up, put others ahead of yourself, moves you ahead of everyone. So it's in your own interest to become selfless, benevolent, altruistic. You benefit from that. The karma you do doing that is why you move ahead. But are you willing to put others ahead of yourself, or only put some people that you are attached to ahead of yourself? But if a soul is according to capacity within his own foundation, then the number of that soul is automatically put at the end, put behind. Because they're only making effort according to their, not according to their purity of who they are, according to the truth of who they are. Someone who knows how to conduct himself properly and moves along easily is able to also make others move along. This is what you call having handling power, being able to handle other people, benevolently handle other people. Everybody uses handling power to extort, manipulate, trade favors. That's impure. That's not what he's talking about. There shouldn't be handling power simply to handle others. That's selfish. Someone who is able to handle the subtle powers of the self, mind, intellect, and scars, is therefore able to
Handle others.
handle others. You're having trouble in relationships because you can't handle your own mind, intellect, and scars. Controlling power and ruling power for the self become accurate handling power of others. Right? You would empower yourself, discover your ruling and ruling and controlling power over yourself. You would discover and get the status of being able to handle others benevolently. But that means you have to become a giver, not a taker. Whether you handle non-gyani, non-souls without knowledge, through service, or whether you interact with the Brahmin family with love and contentment, you will be successful in both because of handling and ruling power, controlling and ruling power that enables you to have handling power. Because, so he's saying there's nothing you can attain. There's no success you can attain. All you need is handling power. And to have handling power, you just need controlling and ruling power over your mind, intellects, and scars. You don't need to look anywhere else. And if you understand this, you can see why there's no such thing as excuses. The only excuse for your lack of success at anything is because of
Lack of control over self.
lack of control and ruling power over yourself, mind, intellect, and scars, and your sense organs. So if you can't get to first base, which is controlling your sense organs, guess what? You can't handle others. You won't have a high status. You can't be trusted to rule over others. You're not pure enough. Because some children experience it to be very easy to know Baba, to belong to Baba, and to fulfill the responsibility of love for Baba, i.e., give the return of love, which is self-transformation and selfless service, renounce everything. Because they find that, because they're able to do that, they experience this effort-making life to be very easy. However, they have to be able to move along with all Brahman souls. But when it comes to that, they say something for that, something or the other. Follow Baba, all in, no problem. My Brahmin life is easy. As soon as I have to interact with Brahmins, well, something or the other. Some sanskar, sometimes, something, somehow enters the mind. Well, Brahmins are the hardest ones to love. Why? Because it became the most impure, having been so pure. So if you can't love Brahmins, How are you going to love all the other souls who aren't even as problematic as Brahmins? What do you expect Brahmins to be at the end of the cycle? So Baba says, what is the reason for that? Saying something. This is where all the excuses and reasons and describing circumstances are. Why is it easy to fulfill the responsibility with the Father? Because there is unbreakable love from the heart. You can do what Baba says, fulfill the responsibility of Baba giving you love because you have unbreakable love for the heart. That was the line that did it for me. I can do anything Baba says because I know Baba loves me and I experience Baba's love. Right? But when it comes to Brahmins, not so much. And it's not even because I think they can hurt me. There's only one thing they can do to me is hurt other Brahmins, and we have to watch it. Because you have unbreakable love from the heart. That's why you can fulfill your responsibilities to Baba. It is easy to fulfill one's responsibility out of love. When you have love for someone, you love the signal of the teachings given by that one. When you love someone, you can take their signals, their corrections. So therefore, I concluded from what he said, oh, that's why they can't take my corrections. It has nothing to do with, oh, I'm not loving enough. You could always say I'm not loving enough. Until I get to my absolute final stage of love, I won't be loving enough. What's that got to do with you not taking correction? You don't take correction because you don't want to love. Do you understand that? You don't want to love. Because if you were willing to love, you would hear the corrections as if they were being given with love. How can you hear or feel that if you're unwilling to love? That's why you can't see the love. The only way you recognize love is if there's that woke sweetness glucose tablet. Then you say, oh, that's love. That's not nothing to do with love. To me, this is such a powerful Murli. When you have love for someone, you love the signal of the teachings given by that one, and your heart always experiences that whatever has been said has been for your just as there are elevated feelings of love in your heart for that one, in the same way, the return of your good wishes is then received from others. Because you're wired differently than I am. I am like knowledge, power, discipline, application, uninfluenced, unaffected. That's what I work on. You guys are on the stage of wanting to be loved, not even willing to give love. You want to be loved. Of course, you should only want to be loved by, but you don't. You go wanting to be loved by other Brahmins or human beings. That is the nature of your problem. That is the essence of what lust is about. You want love from human beings, but they're all impure. So you should know that that can't happen, but you won't renounce bhakti of that, faith in that. Maybe one day I'll meet the right human being. But Baba said that if you have that attitude inside yourself, he calls that you're committing adultery. How are you going to have love from Baba when you're committing adultery? That's the problem. Just he says, so then that love from your heart, you get the return of your good wishes. Except when they think that you're hurting them, and they can't feel the love, then you don't get the return of the good wishes. It echoes and comes back to you. You hear your voice. You shout it, it bounces off the dome and it comes back, and you hear your own voice reflect back to you. Just as you have unbreakable, constant, stable love and elevated feelings and faith, even though Brahmin souls are number-wise, is there constant and unshakable soul-conscious love for them in the same way, even though they're lying, cheating, and stealing. Why? Because they're Brahmins, and they'll eventually learn to stop lying, cheating, and stealing. But you still have to love them until they get there. But you're afraid to do that because, like me, you're afraid you're going to get angry at them. But just as you have unbreakable, constant, and stable love and elevated feelings and faith, then even though Brahmin souls are number-wise, is there constant and unbreakable soul-conscious love for them in the same way? Do you have love for them anyway? Right? You do have love, but when you see the variety of their activity and the variety or the standard deviation of their behavior, completely pure to totally impure, he's telling you, of course, they're in transformation. But he's saying that cannot be the determinant in your loving them. You have to love them despite the standard deviation of their behavior, right? That's what he's saying. That's why you learn to love. If you stay on this path, you will learn to love. So you do have love, but when you see the variety of their activity and the variety of their sanskars, there isn't unbreakable and constant love. I read that and I went, oh my God, thank you, Baba. He says, if a soul's activity, that is their behavior and sanskars towards the self or towards others, which is my issue, is not how you like it, the percentage of love gets reduced. When they behave badly towards others, my love for them reduces. And then I can go from best friend, benevolent benefactor, brother to worst enemy, pit bull. Because you're causing harm to Baba's yagya, Baba's children. And then there's that protective side of me that somehow causes my mind to lose balance. I can love intensely and probably did love human beings that intensely. But now I have knowledge and I know no human being is pure enough for me to love intensely like that. Better just to spend my time loving Baba. Yeah, every line of this Murli is unbelievable. He says, if a soul's activity, that is their behavior and sanskars towards themselves or others, is not how you like it, which is a projection judgment thing, the percentage of love that you have for them is reduced. But it's your projection, how you want them to love. So then your love for them reduces. As soon as your love reduces, you judge them, you dislike them. You push them away. You try to control them. Anything but love them. This is relevant in your physical life relationships with your family members and whatever, as it is to being in the Brahmin family. There's deep wisdom in this. Right? Now, who figures this out on day one when you come to Raj Yoga? Unconditionally loving the first day? No. But if it's taking you 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you still haven't done it, is that because Baba didn't explain it? Or you are unwilling to follow what he said? I've told you your problem is you won't agree with what Baba says. Who has pure discernment power of the truth of who you are? God or you? You're the one in body consciousness. So how can you trust what you think you are? But you keep trusting your ego's version of yourself instead of Baba's version, who's incapable of seeing anything but complete purity and truth in you. And by the same token, you want to remember all kinds of people who can't see you with pure vision like Baba does, instead of trusting in Baba, who sees you that way. Whose problem is that? It's yours. Whatever the sanskaras and activity are like, this is why you have to make exceptions for Brahmins. Love everybody, but particularly you got to love the Brahmins, because Brahmin souls have an unbreakable relationship amongst themselves and a special unbreakable relationship with Baba throughout the cycle. You're going to be with him in Golden Age, Silver Age, or whenever. You will not be with all these other souls in Golden Age and Silver Age, unless they happen to be Brahmins. So they get extra special treatment from you because the karma you do and incur by not loving them is bigger than not loving the other souls. You should love them all, but you pay more. Return karma is greater. They recognize Baba, have the same knowledge, and therefore you have to love them as they are, whatever they're doing. Good, bad, or ugly, you have to love them. That's unconditional love. You don't have to do that with the other souls because you're only going to be with them a short period of time. Some of these souls you're only going to know for one birth. So he says, this is therefore the godly family. They're God's children. All are God's children, but they're, he says, our stepchildren. This is God's direct children. The Father has especially selected every soul. Baba selected each one of you. and brought you into this godly family. Baba gave you birth. Baba's your mother and your father. I just helped deliver. Baba selected every soul and brought each of them into this godly family. That's what you're going up against when you want to tear down Brahmins in thought, words, or actions. You have Baba's protection, but to get that kind of protection, you have to die alive and surrender. Otherwise, you get limited warranty coverage. Understand? But if you surrender, Baba becomes responsible completely for you. You just got to control your mind, intellect, sanskaras. So by keeping the Father in front of you, keeping Baba in front of you, there is then unbreakable soul conscious love for every soul. That's the effort you're supposed to be making. When you fail to make that effort, then you give excuses and reasons and blame other people for your lack of success. All you have to do is keep the Father in front of you. Then there is unbreakable soul conscious love for every soul. It is when you do not like something, I like, dislike thing, remember, picky, choosy? When you do not like something about a soul, that there then becomes difference in your love. This is why you got to stop being judgmental. I like this, I don't like that. Then you don't know how to love. That's why you do liking instead of loving. At that time, keep this awareness that this is Baba's child and Baba is in front of you when you are in trap. Remember I told you about you said, ask me about, did anyone ever try telling you about your correcting? And I said, yeah, my lucky sister. Right? And then I lost my yoga. Right? So because my lucky sister, I was so attached to her, I couldn't remember Baba. So then I said, Baba, I cannot lose yoga over anybody, even if she's my sister. So then I need a solution. I need to get my yoga back. And then he just told me that simple solution. Put Baba between you and her, and as if you're behind Baba, and you can see through Baba's head, through his eyes, look at her the way Baba's looking at her. My God, it was amazing. Amazing how fast that transformed my consciousness. All I had to do was simply look at her the way Baba looks at her. And I was free again, liberated from the attachment. My God, I couldn't believe it. When you do not like, so that's a sin to not like somebody or something, then there's a difference in your love. At that time, keep the awareness in your intellect, colon. The Father has selected this soul, and so there must definitely be some specialty or the other. That is why he selected this soul. From the beginning, Bapdada has been telling all the children, colon, for instance, out of the 36 virtues, even if someone doesn't have 35 of those virtues, but has only one special virtue, that is why the Father chose them. So every one of you has at least one virtue. You got way more. But he's telling you, at least there's one. And that one is enough for you to love them. So stop giving excuses. The only reason is you don't want to love. And you have to pay a very heavy price every passing year for choosing not to love. Because you fail to recognize that Baba chose them. Who are you to say anything? Baba chose them. So what's this? I'm judgmental. I want to see them in impure vision. How can you do that? They're not yours. They don't belong to you. So you're incurring big sin. Did he see that one's 35 defects or their one virtue? What did Baba look at? The greatest virtue and specialty is of having the intellect with which to recognize the Father. They don't need any more specialty than that. That makes them super extra special. So you got to love them. Your parents give birth to a child. Maybe they're not your best version of what you wanted for a brother or a sister, but Baba picked them for a reason. You don't have a say whether they're part of your family. Baba picked them, they're part of your family. That's the end of story. The greatest virtue and specialty is having the intellect with which to recognize the Father and the courage to belong to the Father and knowing the method, the correct method of knowing how to love the Father. That is the greatest specialty. because there's so much purity connected to that for any soul that can recognize Baba. So you do not have the right to project all your rubbish and waste onto them because you won't self-transform. This was not known by the founders of the religions, Abraham, Buddha, Jesus. This was not known by them throughout the whole cycle. Who could tell you that other than God? Who does anyone know about Abraham, Buddha, and Jesus and all these souls? Muhammad. The rulers did not know this. The kings. The wealthy ones did not know this. But that soul has this specialty of recognizing God. That makes them really special. Baba is asking all of you, when you came to the Father, did you come full of all virtues? Well, they were in you, but did you come with emerging them? No, we saw your vices. Did we not patiently keep tolerating, patiently encouraging you, patiently guiding you, directing you despite your vices? So what do you mean we don't love you? Nobody did that for you. Nobody. But that soul has this specialty. Baba says, when you came to the Father, did you come full of virtues? Did the Father look at your weaknesses? He increased your courage by saying, you were mine, you are mine, and you will always belong to me. That's what Baba told every one of us. So you should follow the Father. When you look at someone and see that one is special, when you look at someone and see them as a special soul, when you come into relationship and connection with such a soul, by keeping the Father in front of you, soul conscious love will automatically emerge from within the soul, within you as well as in the one that you're looking at with that kind of love. Because of your love, you will then be loved by everyone. So stop blinding yourself to seeing love. How do you blind yourself from seeing love?
See evils, weaknesses.
But where does that come from? By your unwillingness to love. That's why you choose to see the defects. You decide you want to love, you don't even look at the defects, right? Because of your love, you will then be loved by everyone. Then, with soul conscious love, you will automatically receive good wishes, cooperation, pure feelings in the form of blessings from everyone. This is known as spiritual, accurate, elevated handling power. All that based on love. Who could tell you that much about love? Today, Bapdada was smiling because controlling power and ruling power decrease in the children due to just 3 words. The first of those 3 words is why. The second is what. And the third is not so easy, this one. Huh?
Like this?
Oh.
It's another W word.
Want.
Want. Desire. Finish these words and use just one word. Where there is why, replace it with wa. Where there is what, say. And where there is want,
Wow.
say wa. Was a Hindi word for wonderful, great, fantastic. You know how to use the word wa, do you not? Wa baba wa. Wa me. Wa drama. So just keep saying wa. And these 3 words of why, what, and want will finish. Shift your yoga from the external to I have everything, I found Baba. The other day, Baba told you about the game he saw. There's a picture that you people made earlier in which a yogi is shown having yoga. He's trying to stabilize his intellect. He's trying to keep balance. And the balance is shown in the form of scales, scales on a balance, balance scales. The more he tries to balance the intellect, the more a monkey will come and sit on one of the scales. When the monkey of these 3 things, why, what, want, comes, what happens to your balance? There would be fluctuation. There would then not be balance. So these 3 words finish the balance and then begin to make your intellect dance, fluctuate, go up and down. Can a monkey ever sit comfortably? No. If nothing else happens, at least the monkey keeps waving his tail, which upsets the balance. Here too, because there isn't balance, souls remain deprived of the blessings they can claim from Baba at every step, from the blessings they can receive from the Brahmin family as what due to spiritual love. You deprive them of that because you don't keep your intellect balanced. To keep your intellect balanced, you have to keep your intellect
Clean and clear.
detached, clean and clear. Just as it is necessary to keep a relationship with Baba, in the same way, it is extremely necessary to keep a relationship with the godly family. Just as Baba said, throughout the cycle, you are to have a relationship and connection with Brahma Baba, the number one soul, and the godly family. Do not think Baba is mine and I am Baba's anyway, so I don't have to think about this stuff. I belong to Baba anyway, so therefore I must love the family. No, that is not true. That is not a sign of passing with honor. You souls are not sannyasi souls. Sannyasi souls are not Brahmin souls. You are not Rishi Muni souls, ascetics who go off and live in a cave. You are not the souls who step away from the world, but you are the souls who become the support of the world. Hence why you have to be pure and live in the family. You are not souls who step away from the world, but you are souls who become the support of the world. You are not ones who step away from the world, but you are world benefactors. Leave aside the question of Brahmin souls. You are the support that transforms matter, not just souls. You are the support that transforms the matter of this universe. You cannot even break away from the thread of the eternal love of the family. Even if you want to, you cannot. It's eternal. So stop fighting everybody. Stop dissing them. Stop trying to hurt them. Stop getting attached to them. Stop diminishing them. A victorious jewel cannot break away from the rosary of the thread of love. Therefore, never have the thought, I can step away from a particular aspect of a place or from a particular type of service or from a companion, a Brahmin, and then make my stage good and show everyone. You cannot do that. That's a lie. If you step away, you're already lying to yourself. You have to conquer, transform until you have no pull from that soul anymore. And if you're not putting your full effort in that, it's because you still want to sustain the attachment. I'm not able to get on with this one. I will get on with that one, but not this one. Then there isn't progress at this place. There will be progress at another place. So I'll go to another place. That there are obstacles. There are obstacles in service. So another service will be better. What do I tell you? You have to face every single problem and overcome it. You can't hide, evade, deny, blame. You have to face it and transform it. And you do that successfully for each and every obstacle, and you will become powerful. There's no running away from anything. I can't look. I'm scared. Think how much you've energized that, and then you know your problem. All of these are thoughts that will make you step away, run away, avoid. Once you instill this habit in yourself of not facing and avoiding, it will not allow you to ever be stable anywhere. You got to keep running, hiding, escaping. Nor would it allow the intellect to stabilize itself because the intellect has the habit of constantly changing, fluctuating, unstable. Therefore, this too is considered to be weakness. This would not be considered or would not be called progress. You must always have pure hopes for yourself, just as Baba has pure hopes for each one of you, his children. No matter what anyone is like, Baba has never lost hope, even for those who would be the last number of the Brahmin family. Baba's never lost hope in you. So where do you get off thinking you get to lose hope in yourself? Such arrogance. He has always had hope in you. So you too must never lose hope in yourself for others or for service. That looks like being powerful as Shiv Shakti. When you're not that, it's because you lost hope in yourself. Don't lose hope, but instead be generous-hearted, not disheartened. Generous means constantly have a big heart, and big hearts constantly give. Do not adopt any weak sanskars because that stops you from being able to give. Maya tries in many forms to make you weak. Don't cooperate with her. However, you are also the ones who are knowledgeful about Maya. Or do you only have incomplete knowledge? Knowing about Maya, your ego, your weaknesses, is also part of knowledge, spiritual knowledge. You're not here just to know knowledge about your virtues. You have to know knowledge about everything. In the Brahmin family, nobody wants to know knowledge about weaknesses, which means Maya. Oh, so let's just do self-transformation without any awareness or understanding of Maya. Really? How do you do that? Why do they do that? Why do Brahmins do that? I can't bear to see. Lack of courage. Also remember that Maya only comes in new form. She does not come in the same old form because she knows that you will recognize her in her old form, so she adopts a new costume. It's the same thing, but she adopts a new costume, a new form. It's the same old sanskar, same old fear. Did you understand? Baba's asking you, did you understand? What do you say? Yes, Baba. Ji, Baba. Samjha, I understand. Acha. Now he's on to the teachers. Are you teachers knowledgeful about Maya? Not just to have knowledge, but to be knowledgeful. Don't think that you have recognized the Father, so you will therefore also have recognized Maya. No. You need a whole exploration and understanding of Maya. I am like a PhD in understanding Maya because I had a lot of Maya to understand. Are you all tied in bondage or do you find it difficult? Do you find it to be a sweet bondage or do you find it a little bit difficult? Do you think that you'll have to die a lot? Do you think you belong to Baba now, but this has to be done, that has to be done? For how long will this have to continue? So much work, so much effort. Do you think if I'd known about all of this, I would not have come and become a Brahmin? This is so deep, this Murli. So Baba says, do you think that you'll have to die a lot if you follow this path? You think you belong to Baba now, but this has to be done, that has to be done. How long will this continue? Do you think if I'd known all of that, I would not have come? Baba says, where there is love, true love for Baba, deep, honest love for Baba, where there is love, nothing is difficult. So all your difficulties are therefore due to lack of love. Why are you blaming and making excuses that it's anything else than your lack of being willing to love? If a moth can sacrifice itself to a flame, what can you not do when the supreme flame is in front of you? All you got to do is
Fly into it.
dive bomb it and fly into it. Like those kamikaze pilots from World War II in Japan. Except they had to drink alcohol before they could do it. So can you elevated souls experience anything to be difficult with God's love? So how important is it for you to get the experience of God's love if you don't want to struggle and get scared and fail? It's the number one thing you got to figure out how to do to stabilize your Brahmin life. Baba says, if a moth can sacrifice, what can you not do? Where there's the experience of difficulty in anything, there is definitely a difference in the percentage of your love. Love makes the experience no difficulty, easy. I can do this. I'm victorious. When you lose your love, guess what happens? It's so difficult. I can't. I'm tired. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. This is why it sometimes seems difficult for you. If it was difficult, you would experience it to be difficult all the time, would you not? But you don't experience it to be difficult all the time. Maybe most of the time, but not all the time. Why? Only sometimes. It's because there is something between you and God that you find it difficult. And that is why there's a difference in your percentage of love. You are distancing yourself from Baba. You can't feel his love as much. You now find things to be difficult. That's body consciousness. When that which in between goes away, everything becomes easy. So what is this? I'm tired. I don't know what to do. Right? You only experience it sometimes difficult. And that difficult means you're away from Baba's love. And when you're away from Baba's love, everything feels. So what should your effort be? Remember Baba's love. And difficult will become easy. Bap Dada always says to the teachers, that was a message for the teachers. It's for everybody, but he's much harder on the teachers. Bap Dada always says that teachers means those who have the courage themselves. Prerequisite to be a teacher, you need to have courage. Or otherwise, don't apply for the job. Who have courage themselves and who become the instruments for giving courage to others. Nothing gives people more courage than you being the example of it practically. Talking about it is, talk is cheap. Lip service does nothing. You have to actually be courageous. It's the number one problem in the Brahmin family. And I support that by saying, if everyone had courage, would they need to do attachment? They'd face it, acknowledge it, conquer it. Baba says, those who remain courageous themselves make others courageous too. This is so important, courage, the virtue of courage. There's a lack of courage in the self, you will not be able to give courage to others. So don't look anywhere else than finding it in yourself first. A chat to the children from all directions who experience courage and the right to the Father's help. To those, if you have courage, Baba says he promises to give you help. If you keep complaining, describing, I can't do it, I don't know what to do, then you separate yourself from Baba. And even though he wants to help you, you can't feel his help. So therefore you fail at overcoming the situation. To the children from all directions who experience courage and a right to the Father's help, to those who use the powers of self-sovereignty according to the time, to those who have unbreakable love for the Father and all souls, to those who sing songs of wow, wow, wonderful, wonderful. In every action, relationship, and connection, whatever the obstacle, difficulty, just say wah. Stop going, oh, wah. Start just say wah, wonderful, fantastic, bring it on. To the children who are such almighty authority children, but that is love, remembrance, and namaste. To the double foreigners, which is us in the foreign lands, if not from India. As soon as you received spiritual drishti, your world changed, did it not? Even in the course, the programs you came to, it changed you. You could feel something, the drishti. You saw yourself with spiritual drishti. Who am I? And you also saw the Father. He alone is our Father, who is not in heaven. Hallowed be his name. Through this, your world changed, through his drishti. Has your world changed or only a little bit? Has your whole world changed or only a little bit? Do you sometimes secretly still look back at the old world? Does the old world appear in your dreams? It means you have to eliminate it even dreaming about it. Otherwise, your dreams are impure, right? Your dreams have also changed because Brahman life means that your entire world has changed. The Father himself has become your world. That's what you have to figure out, how to make Baba your world. If God is your world, do you see any of the ugliness of this world? So you want to stop being hurt by this world? Make God your world. Is there anything else? In the world, there are two special attainments, people and possessions. Through all relationships, the Father has given you everything you need in this world, in Baba's world. Do you experience having all relationships with the Father? Or are there still some relationships you have with other people? Right? You all consider yourselves married. You have brothers, siblings. This one is my mother. This one is my father. This one's my child. Well, those are all the relationships you can't have with Baba. Does that mean you should ignore and throw them all in the garbage? No. You get all the power from Baba so you can manage those relationships because they're your karma. Of course, you have to deal with them. You just got to stop taking from them. And what have you received from your possessions? You receive, temporary, of course, happiness and joy. The Father has given you imperishable attainments. So do you experience that attainment? In any case, when you meet any soul, if it is someone who is always happy, then you like that person's face, do you not? It's a happy face. Or would you like to see a face that's not always happy? What if we gave you drishti like this? You're supposed to be happy. The fact that Brahmins are unhappy tells you that their happiness is
Conditional.
based on temporary. Do you always remain cheerful? Say with intoxication. What should you say with intoxication? If we don't remain happy, then
Who will?
who will? We met God. You should be happy. You met God and you're still unhappy? Bapdada wants to see every child's face happy. He doesn't want you to fake it. He wants you to actually imbibe knowledge so you'll become happy. You like this, and the Father also likes this. Therefore, remain happy. Bapdada says, always continue to sing this song. I've attained that which I had to attain. Even the good, the bad, and ugly. You had to attain it. You had to experience it. Now, decide what you attain and what you're going to retain. So what else is there to do? This is your song, is it not? As soon as you took your Brahmin birth, Bapdada gave you happiness, the greatest treasure of all. I've never experienced more happiness. Even in some of my saddest part of my Brahmin life, I have never experienced more happiness than from Baba. That's what kept me going. Bapdada has these treasures only for you children. This kind of happiness is only for Brahmins. Each one of you can take as much of this as you want. There's no question of accounting for it. You're only allowed this much. You take as much as you want from Baba. Everyone has a full right to the inheritance, to the happiness. Acha, blessing. May you attain success in every action with your knowledgeful, powerful, and loveful form and become an embodiment of success. May you attain success in every action, which means happiness, with your knowledgeful, powerful, and loving form. How do you get success? Knowledgeful, powerful, loving. Truth, power, and love. And become an embodiment of success. Love doesn't mean holding somebody's hand. You understand this, right? That's just feeling sorry and empathizing with people. That's not love. When you do service through words, let your mind be powerful. Change the minds of others with your mind. That is, control their minds with your mind. Oh, mind control. Control the minds of others based on
Control your own.
remembering Baba. Not your ego selfishly wanting to control other people's minds. Control their minds with your mind and give them light and might through your words and make them knowledgeful. Through your actions, that is, through your connections and entertaining activity, give them the experience of a real family, the real family. When you perform every action by staying in all these three forms, you will automatically become an embodiment of success. So all these words Baba has spoken. So I only base my life and decisions on words that I have heard Baba speak in the Murli. And I trust that even more than the yoga experiences, because who knows what Maya could be in your yoga. Now I trust my yoga a lot more, but it's in print. Baba said this. Now it's up to you to figure out what he said. So you can count on that. Your yoga, maybe you can count on, depends on your stage, right? If you're up and down, do you trust your yoga? No. And when you stabilize, you'll trust your yoga more. Slogan, accumulate the power of pure thoughts in yourself, and this power will become your means of safety. Pure thoughts is your protection.